Hello and welcome to the enosix Integration Stitch Lab. Today I'm going to talk about and demonstrate what are SAP KMAT, VC, and configurable materials and how to leverage these products along a business process. But first, what is the Stitch Lab? The Stitch Lab consists of short videos highlighting integrated processes designed for organizations invested in SAP. We call it the Integration Stitch Lab because here at enosix we are powering up processes by stitching data together in real time between SAP on the back end with systems of engagement on the front end like Salesforce or ServiceNow. Today's content demonstrates a use case that SAP companies have when trying to manage a specific type of product called configurable materials in SAP. In this session, I will first explain what a VC product is, demo what these products look like in SAP, and explain how companies can effectively utilize these materials along a process, such as creating a quote for a customer in a front-end system. I'm Ann Largent, Solution Engineering Director here at enosix, and to illustrate this specific use case, first let's understand what a configurable material means in the context of SAP. A configurable material is a specific type of product that has various components or characteristics, as they're called in SAP, that need to be selected before the product can be delivered or sold. In SAP, these products can be called a variant configurable product model, or VC for short, or as configurable begins with a K in German sometimes, they do call it a KMAT. Those of us in the SAP industry, or configurable material with a C. All of them are common terms for the same type of product where there are characteristics, components, options that make up the product before it can be delivered. There are slightly different technical ways to set these up in SAP, but in essence they all behave the same way and need to be configured. A common example of a configurable material is a laptop computer. When purchasing a laptop, you will have required components, such as what RAM, how much RAM to choose, and what CPU processor you might want. There will be optional components to pick from, such as a high-end graphics card if you are a gamer. There also will be dependencies on other characteristics, and I'll show that here in the demo. Country code and the voltage chosen is a common option. And it's important to note that these options will be specific to each brand and laptop model. So there will be many product models and configurations to manage at manufacturers. Now that we have a basic understanding of what a KMAT VC configurable material is, let's go to the demo and pop over to SAP. I've already brought up the transaction PMEVC, which is the screen of the configuration, variant configuration. Here we have that VC term here, modeling environment for a laptop computer. And as I hit enter and we go into this transaction code and I'm exploding the various options here, you'll see processor, how much storage, RAM, graphics card, those various options or characteristics listed. If I double click over here on the graphics card, the characteristic is a graphics card here, different formats and value assignments, and then they'll have values here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 listed, and the last one's an AMD RX 32GB VGA card. These products are going to be needed along various processes. So let's go see it in action in a Salesforce front end when creating a quote for a customer, and to really understand what's happening and why that configurable material and the values are important. I've created a quote already. It's off the account here, Hibbett Manufacturing in Salesforce, and I have an opportunity already created. And as I go here and add that laptop, that CP12, to my quote, what we're doing is rendering the characteristics out of SAP Live along the quote and in this UI. So just like we saw in SAP, when the screen pops up, we'll see the same characteristics that were in the back end, the OS version, the RAM, CPU processor. And as we talked about earlier, some characteristics are required, some are optional, and some will have a dependency built in SAP along the model. Country selection, when I choose the country selection of the United States, the model back in SAP says 110 is the proper voltage. It doesn't give me another option. It's dependent on the country selection and allows me to select the proper configuration. I have a summary screen of the characteristics that I've chosen and a nice success message. But the dependencies are live in this example and in this demo, so when I change the country to Germany, I get an error message directly out of SAP here saying, wait a minute, 110 is not the proper voltage for Germany. The model in SAP has 220 correctly, and so it allows me to choose the proper configuration throughout this process on the quote. So I'm going to save this product to the quote here. And as you can imagine, these characteristics change regularly on the back end. These products are very common in the manufacturing vertical, and new configurations are engineered often, and older options are deprecated. So managing these KMAT and VC models in a front end and the back end system becomes challenging. You basically have to build the models in both systems. So if a change occurs in SAP, it takes a lot of manual effort and coordination to also communicate with the front-end system admins to make sure these models stay in sync. This causes delays and inaccuracies when building a quote to send to a customer and along other processes along your business. So improving this process should be a priority for SAP manufacturing. So to illustrate really what it looks like when we change something live in SAP to that product in Salesforce, I'm going to demonstrate for the last part of this video changing the value on this graphic card. The transaction code in SAP to change a characteristic is CT04. And let's do a couple things here. Let's deprecate this bottom one, the AMD. And let's add in a couple of new ones. Let's add in a Radeon 7750 16 gig, and let's add in a 32 gig option. So imagine the laptop has changed. We have new graphics cards available. The old one was deprecated. The new two ones are now in SAP on these values. And what are we going to do for our quote here? Well, because we can come in here and reconfigure this line in Salesforce with this live rendering of the model, now when I go look at the graphics card, the two options are here. The old one is gone, the AMD old one is gone, and the 16 and 32 graphics are now available. It retained all my other previous values. I have a success message, and now I can finalize this configuration to the quote. The quote can now continue on with its regular approvals and discounts, and the process can continue, and it can be accurate and have the proper configuration as the person is building out the quote to send to the customer. This is the end of the video, and I really hope that you found this content helpful. We will be sharing more of this type of content, showcasing SAP and CRM business processes with you right here in the enosix Integration Stitch Lab channel, where enosix stitches SAP data to your front-end systems of engagement to streamline and support robust, real-time, and transactional interactions for your internal and external customers. Thanks for your time today. Really appreciate you spending a moment to watch the video. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or feedback, and you can contact us at marketing@enosix.com. Thank you very much.